to be good enough, good enough.
Welcome to the Look at Me Now podcast, the Coach Heather Experience. This is your space for transformation, elevation, and joy. Every week we explore how to live a joy-filled life in your career, your relationships, and in your soul. From your personal life to your professional world, I'll help you uncover how to love yourself more, love others more, and fall in love with your life. Whether it's mindset, movement, or emotional growth, this show is your invitation to rediscover excitement, adventure, and confidence. So, today we are going all the way in. We are talking about something that every woman feels, but most have never been taught. How do you interact with a man in a way that draws him closer? How do you build deep, meaningful love without chasing or manipulating? We hear this all the time, right? Don't chase, attract. Don't chase, attract. But how do we do that? Where's the manual, right? So we're also going to talk about how do we heal from our own wounds so that we stop self-sabotaging, so that we stop sabotaging our relationships. We're talking about the feminine art of influence, how to activate healthy desire, attraction, devotion, leadership, and love by healing yourself first and stepping into soft power. This is science, this is psychology, and this is energetics. Get cozy, grab your journal, because today is going to shift something inside of you. So the first thing that we're going to do is acknowledge the shadow honestly. The female shadow in this context sounds like, I am afraid that I'm not enough. What if he doesn't respect me? What if I lose him if I fully express myself? What if I lose him if I fully express my needs? Will I be too much? Am I too needy? Am I too emotional? The shadow is not wrong. It's protective, but it will run your relationship if you don't see it. So the key is, instead of denying the fear, you name it internally with softness. I feel a part of me fearing that I'm not enough right now. I see her. She's getting insecure. She feels like she's not enough. I see her. But I choose to bring my heart forward anyway. This is feminine leadership. Not repressing, not projecting, but alchemizing. Second, drop into embodied feminine energy. Before you approach him or interact, breathe. Okay? Relax your jaw. Drop your awareness into your body. I am safe, okay? Feel your heart open, like we do in yoga with the heart openers. Feel your heart open, not collapse. You are no longer coming to him from a fix me or validate me energy, okay? You are coming from self-possession. That is magnetic, okay? You're coming from a place that you know you are a prize. Third, approach him through invitation energy, not demand or fear. The shadow makes us want to control, to test, to act out of fear. We do not want to do that, okay? The shadow makes us want to withdraw, control, test you, run away, get jealous, over-explain, over-please. These are our deep, deep insecurities. We're trying to prove our worth. Oh my goodness, how many times have I done that? I try to prove my worth by explaining all of my accomplishments, all the other men that like me. My husband does not want to hear about how many men hit on me, right? Instead, you flip it and embody it. How can you flip the script on the shadow? With warmth, receptivity, mystery, okay? And we're going to talk about later in the podcast how to do these things. Emotional truth without blame. How I really feel, but without blaming anyone, right? Let's talk about some examples of this. Instead of you never respect me, I don't feel good enough for you. Okay? I don't feel good enough for you, or you never respect me, or you don't do this, that, and the other. You say, there are moments when I notice I pull back because I care so much. And I catch myself afraid of not being fully seen. I want us to feel even more connected, because when we are, it feels so good to me. It feels so good to me more connected. So you're inviting him into connection, inviting him into your world and into what you want without accusation or blame. Fourth, make your softness your power. Men, healthy masculine men, are drawn to your vulnerability without victimhood, your honesty without aggression, your emotions without emotional chaos. So when you reveal your layers with time, not all at once, when you reveal rather than react, it melts their walls. So instead of running away, blaming, getting angry, try, I love how safe you make me feel when you really listen. It means everything to me. Sometimes I get afraid I'm not enough, but being with you reminds me that I am. These are the sorts of conversations, just that little language shift makes a huge difference in him. Next, mirror his leadership while keeping your standards. Your shadow may want to overgive, please, chase, control, manage his emotions. Instead, allow him space to lead. Let there be quiet, silence, room. Reward his leadership with appreciation. Stay rooted in your standards without punishing or without withdrawing your love. Soft power equals strong boundaries, but an open heart. Now, let's talk about the feminine art. The more you hold your own shadow tenderly, the more you invite him to rise into his best self. Your healed feminine draws out the healed masculine. You become magnetic, not because you're perfect, but because you're safe in yourself. So here's the secret. Just like you have shadow fears, I'm not enough, I'm not respected, I'm too much, he doesn't think I'm pretty. He has shadow fears too. Failure, not being good enough for you, not providing enough, not being strong enough, being rejected, being inadequate as a man. When you challenge his shadow, you don't attack it. You call him forward with respect, softness, and belief in who he is becoming. Here's some phrases that challenge his shadow, but with love and power. Affirming his strength while planting the seed. Here's an example. I know there's so much inside of you that's waiting to be fully expressed. I see your strength even when you doubt it. I don't need perfect. I love seeing you push yourself. It's powerful watching you rise. This tells his shadow you are capable, you are safe, and you are seen. Call him into leadership gently. I feel safest when you take charge like you did the other day. You have no idea how sexy that is to me. When you step up like that, it reminds me why I trust you so much. His shadow may fear, am I strong enough? So you're feeding the opposite belief. Next, reframe his failures as opportunities. We're always growing. I don't expect you to never fail. I love watching how you get back up. The fact that you care so much to get it right says everything about the kind of man you are. His shadow, I'm not enough if I fail. And you are saying your growth is what I admire. Next, use playful challenge when it's appropriate. So you can say something like, I know you have more in you than you even realize. It's kind of hot watching you figure that out. Or, you don't fool me. I know how driven you are under that cool exterior. This lightly teases his shadow into rising while keeping it flirtatious and warm. Next, mirror his masculine potential. You make me feel like I can truly relax. That's rare. It takes a strong man to hold that kind of space. I trust your judgment because you always find a way. You're speaking to his deepest desire to be the man who can provide, protect, and lead, not just financially, but emotionally. So here's the formula. Do not shame him, okay? We don't want to shame him. We do not want to mother him. I learned that the hard way. Makes you very unattractive to your man when you mother him. We don't want to scold him because he's immediately going to be resistant to that. We want to invite him into our space, into our world, into our thoughts, into what we believe he can become. We always want to reflect his highest self and root our words in softness, belief in him, and playfulness. So let me say that again. We want to root our words with him in softness, belief in him, and playfulness. Remember, we are not stroking his ego. We are feeding his soul's identity. When a man feels like a king in your presence, his shadow shrinks and his masculine rises. And that's what we want, because that is going to feed our feminine, and that's going to make us happy. Okay? So, let's be real. Most women don't sabotage love because they're too much. We sabotage it because we're scared. We carry shadow wounds. We carry wounds and fears of not being enough. We have fear of being abandoned, fear of being disrespected, fear of losing control, fear that we're not enough, fear that we're too much, fear that we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough. You know, these fears show up in over-explaining, pleasing, trying to prove our worth, over-functioning. Oh my goodness, and the trying to prove your worth, over-functioning, over-explaining. I have done these so much. Have you ever tried to woo a man by telling him how much other women love you and how many times you get hit on in a day? Even though that's probably true, that is not what they want to hear. Or maybe you've tried to win your man over, whether it be your new partner, your long-term relationship, or your husband, by controlling him, by testing him, by withdrawing emotionally, by running away, by chasing him, by begging for breadcrumbs. Text. Please, please, please talk to me. Spend time with me. Here's the worst part. The more we operate from fear, the more we trigger his shadow. When we're living in that shadow of ours, those deep female fears that are deep in the female psyche, we trigger his fear because men have shadows also. So when we act like that to him, guess what he thinks? Now I'm a failure because I'm not making her happy, or I'm not making her feel like she's enough. They have fear of failure, fear of not being respected, fear of not being able to provide, fear of not being able to lead, fear of not being desired. So when we start acting out of our shadow fears, we trigger his shadow fears, his masculine shadow fears. And this is where polarity gets flipped. Women are chasing respect and men are chasing admiration. So let's talk about the science behind desire, polarity, and soft power. And let's get nerdy for a moment, because this is not just energy talk. This is not just vibes. This is biology. Testosterone is the dominance hormone, and it fuels men's desire to lead, provide, and conquer. And this is science, okay? This is not my opinion. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone. Fuels women's desire for safety, connection, and nurturing. And when we try to control, manage, or dominate, we spike our cortisol and testosterone and emasculate him without even realizing it. But when we soften, we open, and we trust, we create a hormonal balance, and his testosterone rises as he leads. And our oxytocin rises as we receive. So then both people feel powerful, needed, and secure. And this is the relationship. This is the arena. This is the environment that we're trying to foster. This is healthy polarity, okay? So, before we can apply these tools with men, we have to apply them to ourselves first. We have to heal our feminine wounds, make peace with our shadows in order to create safety. So, first healing step, face your shadow. Here's the journal prompt. What am I trying to control? Where am I trying to control love because I fear losing it? Where am I trying to control because I have a fear of losing control? Healing step 2, validate your needs. My need for love, safety, leadership, and devotion is valid. I do not need to shrink myself to receive love. Healing step 3, release the scarcity mentality. Stop believing that good men are rare or that you have to chase them, because that's not the truth. There are amazing men, but they're responding to our energy. They're responding to your energy. Healing step 4, embody soft power. Open body language, relaxed voice, playful teasing, honest communication, telling what you need, being honest about what you want, being honest about yourself without blaming him or another man or society or anybody else. Just openly being honest and being safe enough to do that. Boundaries delivered with kindness. Boundaries are very important. But when we're secure in ourselves, when we're secure in our shadow, when we've dealt with our insecurities, then we can deliver those boundaries with kindness and love, okay? All right, let's get practical. How to interact with men in your feminine and your soft power. Number 1, don't manage, invite. So instead of, why don't you ever plan dates, say, I love when you take the lead. It makes me feel so safe and desired. See how that language now invites him to plan dates. Number 2, don't chase, receive. So instead of texting first, leave space for him to pursue. Like Mel Robbins says, and if he doesn't, well, there's tons of men out there, okay? Number 3, reward his efforts with warmth, gratitude, and softness. So when he does text first, or he opens the door, or he plans a date, or does anything that you like, reward him with softness. Next, don't test, trust. Allow him space to lead, even if it means letting go of control. Just try it. Next, mirror his masculine identity. Like, I trust you. You always figure things out. You make me feel so safe when you take charge. I admire how you handle things. So let's talk about the science and psychology behind this, the shadow and ego work. This is from Dr. Jung, Carl Jung, founder of, one of the founders of psychology. A man's ego is attached to his identity as a provider, a protector, a leader, and a creator. His shadow holds his unconscious fears like failure, inadequacy, not being enough for you, or not being enough in life. So when you lovingly challenge his ego, you're not attacking him. You're inviting his shadow into integration. You're saying, I see who you are now, and I also see who you are capable of fully becoming. This creates expansion, not shame. This is saying, oh, wow, you've accomplished so much, and I can see how you can even accomplish more. You're so loving and kind, and I see how you can even be more expansive. Men are wired to thrive on challenge plus belief. So he feels trusted to rise in both masculine arousal and responsibility. This approach creates intimacy, devotion, and a deep desire in him to prove himself, not just to you, but for himself, with you as his safe witness. So let's talk about how to implement this in real life. This is the formula. Number 1, admire who he is now. 2, reflect his dreams back to him. Ask him, what are your dreams if there were no holes barred, no limitations? 3, speak belief into his future. So here's some examples. You've already built so much, and I can't help but feel like there's even more in you that's waiting to come alive. Here's another one. If nothing was standing in your way, financially, time-wise, what's something you would love to create, explore, or experience? Here's another one. I honestly think you're only just scratching the surface of what you're capable of. I mean, I know I would love to hear that, and I'm, in my feminine, right? It's amazing to watch you lead already, but I believe you have a gift for something even greater. It's amazing to watch you lead now, but I believe you have a gift for something even greater. Here's another one. You've built such a solid foundation. I can only imagine how powerful it will be as you step even more fully into your potential. Here's another one. I don't love you because of what you do. I love you because of who you are. But I get excited when I think about what else you could create in this life. I get excited about when I think about what else you could create in this life. I see a king inside of you, and I always have. I see a king inside of you, and I always have. So let's summarize this psychologically. These statements affirm his current masculine identity. It affirms his current masculine identity, which is ego safety, creates safety, okay? Number 2, it lovingly pokes his shadow without shame. It lovingly pokes his shadow without shame, a safe challenge, So we created safety in who you are now, and then in a nice way, a safety challenge. We challenged. This stimulates his desire to rise and lead. It stimulates his desire to rise and lead, and it makes you insanely attractive to him. So, let's go even deeper. One of the most powerful forms of feminine influence is when you become a safe mirror for his highest potential. You're not demanding, you're not mothering, and you are not shaming. You're doing what no one else does. You're seeing him deeply. You're seeing him both for who he already is and for who he's becoming. This is where his ego feels safe, but his soul feels called forward. Like you might say, you've already built so much, but I just know there's even more inside you waiting to emerge. If there were no barriers, what's one dream you would chase full out? I love watching you lead, and I truly believe you're only getting started. By doing this, you're activating 2 things. Number 1, let's talk about it again. You're activating his dopamine system, which drives forward momentum. You're activating his dopamine system. His masculine core, which longs for purpose, leadership, and responsibility. You're activating that. You're activating his masculine core, which longs for purpose, leadership, and responsibility. Men expand under love. Men rise under belief. Men become kings when they feel both admired and safely challenged. Your feminine energy becomes both his anchor and his fuel. Owens taught me this, and she gave me a book about it when I was really young, and it really does work. In truth, you attract more by magnetism than by management. Number one, use emotional vulnerability. When you hold me like that, I feel so safe. All right, next we're going to talk about seduction. How to get what you want without control. This is where women get scared. We think if I don't control it, I'll never get what I want, okay? But my mother-in-law, Dodie Owens, taught me this, and she gave me a book about it when I was really young, and it really does work. In truth, you attract more by magnetism than by management. Number one, use emotional vulnerability. When you hold me like that, I feel so safe. When you protect me, I feel so cherished. He feels like a man. You get what you want, win-win, right? 2, use positive reinforcement. Practice his leadership. Reward his efforts. Celebrate his wins, okay? This goes a long way. Number 3. Now, my mother-in-law definitely does this well, and some other ladies I know do too, like Lindsay and Brittany, but I don't do this as well, but I'm learning to use playful teasing. I love it when you show off like that. That's so hot when you take charge, you know that? Next, set standards with softness. I feel safest when a man is consistent. That allows me to fully open up. I feel safest when a man dials into me. That makes me feel safe. All right, why this all works, the masculine psyche. Let's break it all the way down. Men want to be needed, but they do not want to be nagged. They want to be admired, but not mothered. Respected, but not controlled. Led by your softness, not forced by your anger. So when you interact in the ways that we've talked about today, he is naturally going to want to protect you, provide for you. He naturally is going to desire you. He is going to devote himself to you. So if you've been dating or if you've been in a 20-year relationship and you start practicing these things that we've talked about today, he is going to be drawn to you. Watch his behavior change. Not out of obligation, but out of free will. Now, we're going to talk about why healthy feminine power is not manipulation. We are not weaponizing sex. We are not making him feel small. Let me say that again. We are not weaponizing sex. We are not making him feel small. We're not competing with him. Wow, big mistake I made for years. Competing. Still do it sometimes. True soft power is inviting, magnetic, playful, honest, and full of grace. And it's done with love because you want your relationship to grow. Or you really see a future with this man and you want to marry him or you want to have a long-term relationship with him. So, I want to tell you this, my beautiful, beautiful angels. You are not too much. You are not too hard to love. You are not too emotional. You were simply never taught how to work with your feminine design instead of against it. When you heal your shadows and you step into your soft power, you are automatically going to stop chasing, stop proving, stop running away, stop acting crazy, and you're going to start receiving. You're going to become the kind of woman who inspires a man to his deepest devotion, because being in your presence feels like home. Rest this week. What type of leadership do I desire from my man? How can I praise him and appreciate him more? Where is my own feminine energy blocked or guarded, and why? Why am I acting in this way, right? Now, let's do some affirmations together, okay? I am safe to receive love. Say it with me. I am safe to receive love. My softness is my power. My softness is my power. I trust healthy masculine leadership. I trust healthy masculine leadership. I release control and attract devotion. I release control and attract devotion. I am magnetic, desirable, and worthy of deep love. I am magnetic, desirable, and worthy of deep love. If this episode touched your heart, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. DM me on Instagram or TikTok at Coach Heather Owens if you want to go even deeper into this work, or check out my new masterclass, The Feminine Art of Influence, where we break this down in more depth. And remember, you are not broken. You are becoming.
You could see that you're good enough.